So I understand it can often get overwhelming getting into gold and silver investing for the first time. You're seeing prices like $3,200 for gold and silver now running at 36.45, and you're wondering how the heck do I even get into gold and silver? So in this video, I want to show you how to get into investing into gold and silver for the first time for someone who's been involved in it for a few years now, has learned and made mistakes and actually done quite well with it. I'm going to teach you some of the things that I've learned along the way and some of the steps that I would take in making your first purchase. Before we get into actually investing, I believe you do need to have some background knowledge behind you before you invest into gold and silver. And there's a few main terms you need to understand. First thing you need to understand is the spot price, which is what I'm showing you right here. And this is basically what's the market price for gold, or what is the market price for silver. You can think of it like a stock price or something like that. That's basically where the market's trading at right now. And this is a universal price. No matter where you go, what kind of shop you go to buy your bullion, gold, silver, or ETFs, this is the price that's currently at market. However, on top of the spot price, we also have what is known as a premium. Now, the premium is the actual cost that you have to pay for bullion for the process of delivering it, getting it out, manufacturing it, often a dealer cost that goes on top of it. It's a minor cost that goes on top of the spot price. To give you an explanation, think of the spot price as the raw land itself for a property, and the premium as actually being the house where the raw land is laid on top. So you really understand how that works. The other thing which I think everyone should understand before they invest in gold and silver is the thing called the gold to silver ratio. Now, what the gold to silver ratio basically tells you, it's how much gold is valued in terms of silver, and it basically compares the two metals side by side. So when it's at a number like 90, that means it's going to take you 90 ounces of silver to buy you 1 ounce of gold. And you need to understand this because the spot prices that we were talking about before, they're all in terms of 1 troy ounce. So that's the spot price for 1 troy ounce of gold, and that's the spot price for 1 troy ounce of silver. This is something that needs to be understood. So that's the gold to silver ratio and what that means. So 89 silver ounces will get you 1 ounce of gold. So when you understand this, then you can understand how overvalued or undervalued the asset is. And the general rule we use is the 80-50 rule. What this means is that generally when this ratio is above 80, so 80 or higher, we tend to invest in only silver. When it's between 80 and 50, we tend to invest in a mix of both gold and silver. And when it's below 50, we tend to invest in only gold. So make sure you're tracking this when you're buying. So right now, I'd say silver is the cheap investment. And right now, it's probably a standout to buy right now. So when you're starting off, I do recommend silver. This is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. Now, the next thing you need to think about is where exactly are you buying the gold and silver? How are you buying it? What are the general rules that you take when you're buying? I want to give you 3 simple rules. The first thing is buy physical metal. Don't buy ETFs or don't buy anything like that, because it's the actual gold and silver that's in shortage. And by having an ETF, or paper gold and silver as it's often referred to, it's basically an IOU. And when we run out of gold and silver down the line, this ETF, or this electronic transfer of the gold and silver, it's worthless when they run out of the gold and silver and when supplies shorten as a result of our falling fiat currency. The next thing I recommend is buy locally. You can buy gold and silver on places like eBay and Craigslist. However, use common sense and understand that you probably shouldn't be trusting those sources, especially if they're selling 1 ounce silver for below the spot price, as we can see here. That's definitely something you can't trust. Go to your local bullion shop and actually look at gold and silver. The other thing I love about that is because you're with your local investor, bullion investor, they understand your investing style, they understand what general stuff you like, and they will help you as a beginner to take your first steps in investing. And the third thing is pay with cash. Don't pay with a bank card. Don't pay with anything like that. We're now getting into the situation where banks are getting a bit squeezy with people buying gold and silver. That's because they want to protect their own currency and they want people to keep their money in their bank accounts instead of going to go buy gold and silver. And I'll be honest, this is just a basic way to protect yourself. So understand this: buy locally, buy physically, and buying cash. All right, so now the fun part. Let's actually have a look at some of the stuff which I personally like. Starting off with gold, I do believe that if you want to get something cheap and easy to start off with, I'm considering that people want to spend maybe their first $1,000. This is some of the stuff which I would look at getting. In terms of gold, there's a couple of things you can get. You can get yourself a 1/10 ounce coin. The best one is usually like the Lunar Series one, which is the Chinese zodiac animal. The snakes are really loved and you can't go wrong with these. But getting in on gold like first time, the 1/10 of an ounce is a really handy way to start. They're nice and small, about this big, and they're just a simple way to get off the mark. The other thing you can consider is the 5-gram bar. They're also a really handy way to get into gold if you prefer something more in a bar form instead of a coin. They sell at a pretty nice price if you understand the premium amount. And I'm a pretty big fan of these. So if you want to get into it through that, that's an awesome idea as well. And then in terms of silver, you can buy 1 ounce coins or rounds. So there is a difference between rounds and coins, and that's what I want to go over now. So a round is basically a silver coin that isn't constituted or isn't from a national bullion. So it's not from an American source, an official Australian source. It's considered from an independent source and not a national mint. So these are usually considered a bit cheaper, but they have no trouble selling at all. So if you're starting off, rounds are fine. Well, a coin, this one here is the Liberty Silver Eagle. This is from America. It's minted by a national mint. So it comes from America, and you can get stuff like the Australian kangaroo, that's from the Perth Mint. That's considered a national coin. Or you can go to the maple, the silver maple, which is Canadian. These are all coins. So you can get yourself a mix of coins and rounds. It's usually a preference. Rounds are a touch cheaper usually, and I think it's good starting off with them, but there's nothing wrong going either way. The last thing I like is the 10 ounce silver bars. They're a really good way to get yourself off the mark. There's not many available here on this particular site, and I think personally this one's a bit on the expensive side, but that's a good way to start off in terms of stacking your silver and getting in early. And the last thing, money doesn't wait. Money loves speed, and as these things keep going up in price, you don't want to be waiting around. Don't wait for any kind of drawback in gold and silver or any time when it's going to go down in price, because I assure you, if you wait, you're going to pay the price for it, and I've learnt that over time. Don't wait for a drawback. Just buy as you have money and continue to build your stack, whether it goes up or down. Don't stop and just continue to build your stack. Money loves speed. And the other thing I'll say to you is just get off zero. Get your first thing bought. Once you've bought your first bit of gold and silver, the feeling is actually amazing because you've got true wealth in your hand and you don't have any kind of crap like toilet paper money anymore, and you're actually investing in real assets. If you want to get started, I've got a little thing in the description below. It's basically just a sheet explaining everything from this video to help you make your first purchase in gold and silver. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you get into Sound Money, buy real assets.